Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not a politician, so my few words will be pretty short. It's indeed my great pleasure to talk to you today at the distinguished annual Jerusalem Post Diplomatic Conference, Israeli Leading Foreign Policy Forum. A few days ago marked the 39th anniversary of late President Anwar Sadat's peace initiative and historic visit to Jerusalem. The peace that was made between Egypt and Israel by President Sadat and Prime Minister Menahem Begin was a turning point in the region. The wisdom and courage the two leaders have shown in recognizing the available opportunity and making the best of it has always been a source of inspiration. At the same time, this wisdom and courage should not be only an issue for historians, but also for political leaders all over the world, especially in the Middle East, which has been facing since 2011 unprecedented challenges and crises that threaten the very concept of statehood in the region. In response to the several challenges that Egypt and the region are facing, the government of President Sisi has chosen the right and difficult decisions, seeking a future prosperous Egypt, even if these decisions were against odds both in domestic and foreign policies. We are going through a very important period in which the government has a very clear vision to advance the aspiration of the Egyptian people. Despite our internal challenges, Egypt has been and will always be a great nation and a leader in the Middle East, working toward peace and stability for all the peoples of the region. This is Egypt's destiny. Egypt is committed to the peace with Israel. In retrospect, 4 decades ago, probably very few people could have imagined the resilience of Egyptian-Israeli peace and the two countries' ability to overcome many difficulties. I understand that here in Israel, there are some who are asking why this peace has not reached all the people at the street level in Egypt. My answer to them is that our peace could certainly be warmer and can reach far more people if we can solve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict through a just and comprehensive peace. A viable two-state solution is the only way that this conflict could be brought to an end, and it's still available and possible. Frankly, I have to say that the Palestinian statehood remains one of the most pressing regional issues and must be prioritized. The current state of affairs represents an example of tragic developments taking place in the last few years. The tension in Jerusalem and the continuous violence, even on lower scale, are alarming. This is especially true with regards to the settlements that are eroding the land of the future state of Palestine. We are deeply concerned that the recent bill on settlement outposts would be a prelude to legalize the Israeli settlement activities which undermine the peace process. During his visit to Israel last July, Egypt Foreign Minister Mr. Sameh Shoukry mentioned that worsening conditions for Palestinians threaten to undermine prospects for peace. The plight of the Palestinian people becomes more difficult every day, and the dream of peace and security moves further out of the Israeli people's reach as long as the conflict continues. His Excellency President Sisi clearly encouraged in his speech in May and again in addressing the UN General Assembly in September, Israelis, Palestinians, and all parties concerned to reach peace, and emphasize the prospects we can reach together if we can find a true solution to this conflict that realizes the hopes of both Israelis and Palestinians. We hope that these efforts will create a constructive dialogue so that together with the Palestinian Authority, we can undertake serious steps in the right direction that requires making the hard decisions. We are quite confident that through our belief in peace, we will be able to overcome all kinds of difficulties by working in determination and in good faith. This also includes overcoming the obstacles that the extremists from both parties present. And when our peoples live in peace and stability, they will be more secure and enjoy greater welfare. The Arab Peace Initiative remains the most practical way to turn these goals into reality. In this, we are promoting a full resolution of the conflict and normalization of relations between the states of the region so that they can tap into the vast resources of cooperation and take full advantage of that for the betterment of the peoples of the region. In other outstanding regional issues, primarily in Syria and Libya, Egypt's policy has been steadfast and clear, reaching a political solution that would put an end to the humanitarian crisis and instability through preserving territorial integrity and state institutions that are able to fight terrorist organizations and their extremist ideology. There, as everywhere else, terrorist organizations and their extremist ideology are the problem and therefore cannot be part of the solution. This is a matter of principle. The absence of hope not only undermines regional and international stability, but also benefits extremist organizations that enjoy killing and destruction and feed hatred between peoples in the region and the world. There is a dire need for the international community to act truly and actively in this regards. Therefore, Egypt sees it obvious to address all terrorist organizations with full respect to the rules of international law, taking into consideration that these organizations adopt the same approach of the use of violence to achieve their evil ends. In all these efforts, we look forward to continuing to work with the international community and with our utmost to adopt and implement policies to restore peace and stability to the region that will undoubtedly have a positive impact on the world's stability and prosperity. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.